Game world immersion.
Because over COVID and lockdown, we were all very isolated, obviously. We're all kind of stuck at home. Many of the people I support are into gaming anyway. They're very avid gamers. For a lot of neurodiverse folks, so neurodiverse just means anyone whose brain works in a way that is different to the majority of people. So that can be someone with a mental health issue, or it can be someone with dyslexia even, or, as I say, learning disabilities. So many of the people that we support were stuck at home, and when COVID lifted, they were kind of feeling really, really isolated. They'd been pinned at home all that time, and I wanted to do something to bring people back together, and I knew that gaming was a big draw. So we scrabbled around, looked behind the back of the sofa, threw a few cushions around, found some money, we got it set up, and we're very lucky we have good connections with Bridgwater Library and Taunton Library and all those libraries, and we started running it from Taunton Library. And the secret about Game Changer is it's not actually about gaming, it's about bringing folk together. But that's how it kind of got started, really.
Yeah, so do you have like a official title as Game Master?
I'm just... it's quite funny. Some of the guys that I work with, they kind of, they're all tech support and that, and they just say, "Oh, Alex, he just drives us around." So I kind of do maybe a little bit more than that. But no, I kind of, I don't know, I'm founder, director, whatever you want to call me, just person with the funny earrings, whatever. I respond to anything. So yeah.
Okay, well, person with the funny ears.
That's me!
So what I've heard is you set this up to help people with neurodiversity, get back into things and stuff. And a lot of people, they see that as like a safe space, which I think there's a lot of talk recently, about the importance of having them in that. So could I ask you, why do you find it important to have safe spaces, like people in general?
I think, so I struggle, I'm constantly torn so officially I'm a kind of support worker, that's my kind of role, and I'm constantly torn between that wanting to bring the people I support together in a kind of environment where they are with all their mates and stuff, but I also want every environment to be a safe space and to be inclusive. So it's kind of like when we see things like, you'll see like discos advertised for people with learning disability, and it's kind of like, well, I get why that happens, and it's great, and I would never put anyone down for organising anything because I know how much work goes into stuff like that, but I want to make ordinary discos inclusive so that people can come along and feel included. Do you know what I mean? So I always struggle with that, and what we say about Game Changer is it's a space for anyone basically who's around a town centre at kind of 1 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Do you know what I mean? So we often, although we kind of target folk with autism and learning disabilities, because that's my background, we have all sorts of folk come along. We have some of the homeless guys come along. We have just curious people coming off the street and go, "Oh, what's going on here?" Then we'll have a chat. So it's kind of self-selecting, really. Generally, some people would come in and they'll kind of take a look and go, "Oh no, this isn't for me," and that's fine, But we're kind of very open. We're very open to anyone coming along, and I think it's just important that there are these places where people know that they can just be themselves. They can come in, they can play games, they can sit around, they can drink tea, they can just sit looking at their phone if they want. We don't put any pressure on anyone to do anything, and I'm very big on that. Is that there is no pressure to do anything. If you just want to come and sit, that is fine. I might come over and start chatting to you, so that's always a downside. But that's what it's about, really.
You did say that you do it in hopes of bringing people together. Do you think the gaming has helped people come together, or do you think it might be just the sense of community of people?
Well, it's what we found. The gaming is a great way to get people in. And we had a great example. We had a guy who was at home. His job coach wanted to get him in. He was working from home doing computer recycling. But he just didn't want to leave the house. And she said, "Well, there's this place that's doing gaming." And suddenly his ears are like, "Ching!"
Yeah.
Because he's a big gamer.
Yeah.
So he came in, And the great thing about gaming is when someone's sat there and they're looking at the screen, you can you're not sat in front of them saying, what about this? You can just say, you like this game? Oh, yeah, I like this because of such and such. And it enables us to have those kind of conversations without there being any pressure, And yeah, I mean, I love gaming. I'm a bit rubbish at it, but don't tell anyone. But I do love my games. So I do have a basic knowledge. When people start talking to me about real in-depth stuff on Minecraft, I have to do that real sort of thing that people do when they don't know anything about anything, and they just go, right, yeah, cool. But I do know a little bit about a lot of games, sort of thing. So I find that we do lure people in with it, but then we get to know them, and I think it's the community that kind of really keeps them coming back.
It's really good, it is.
Thank you.
So what was the sort of main challenges for setting this sort of thing up? Because obviously locations lead towards getting people actually in to begin with. What was that like?
So I'm lucky. I'm my day job, as I say, is as a support worker, and I've been doing that since about 2000. So I know a lot of the people, even people that I no longer support, I'm kind of still in touch with, and that. So I've got a good network of connections and colleagues and all that sort of thing, and all these kind of wonderful folk who spread the news of what we're doing. But I think for us, the biggest challenge, we have very unique and very definite kind of needs. So we need places that are accessible. We need places that have got good things like good Wi-Fi, that have got lots of sockets, that preferably have got a few TVs scattered around. And so we were drawn to the libraries. I'm very lucky. I've got a very good friend called John Carter, who's quite high up in the library, Somerset Library Service, and he said, "Well, why don't you come and do it from Taunton Library? We've got the glass box there, which I don't know if you know Taunton Library. It's like a tech centre. So as you go in, it's literally on your right, and it is like our dream. It's got about a dozen screens all around the walls. It's got things like 3D printers. It's got all that techie stuff. So we just rock up, we plug in all our kit, and it's really easy. And it's always set up with all the great tables and things. So it's just a really nice space."
Cool.
That sounds pretty awesome. One of the questions I have then is, what is your favourite thing about it? Because it seems that you're very passionate about this, and from what I understand, it sounds like you're doing really amazing work.
Thank you.
So what is your favourite, is there one thing that you think this is what it's all about?
Okay, so I can tell you that in a flash. So there's a gentleman I support, we'll call him Trevor, and Trevor lives with his very elderly nan, and he lives in the middle of nowhere. He's on a main road, but it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. And Trevor doesn't drive. His nan is very elderly. She's only gets out occasionally, so he doesn't have a lot of opportunity to get out. He started helping us and coming along because he has this encyclopedic knowledge of games and gaming. He goes out of his way to collect weird games like Power Wash Simulator and things like this. But Trevor is a sociable person, and he loves talking to folk, and he wasn't getting that opportunity. He started volunteering for us. Not only did he meet people, he met someone special. And at the age of 30, whatever, he is now in a relationship with someone, which for me is that's what it's all about. It's about bringing folk together and just letting them go on with it. I don't need to sit there and say, "Trevor, this is whatever their name is, I think you've got a lot in common." I just say, "Here, play some games," and that's what people do, and then they chat and get to know each other, and that's when the magic happens. So I think the thing that makes me keep doing it is that bringing folk together and just seeing people get on and make new friends and stuff.
Would you say there is a certain game that everyone seems to want to play in Game Changer that really draws people together?
We force people to play Mario Kart. We absolutely. It's that is because I think that's our favourite game. I'm not saying it's everyone's favourite, but we love it just because it is so fun, and it's you can be doing really well, and then I don't know if people might not be familiar with the Mario Kart. It's a racing game, but you can pick up little bombs and things that have special uses. So like one will take out the leader, or one will take out, it's like a homing missile. And you can be at number one, doing really well, and suddenly someone will launch what one of my friends calls the blue shell of judgment at you, which is the shell that always takes out the leader. And suddenly you're back at 12th place, and you're like, ah! And it's just that great fun, you know, no one can get upset or angry, because it's just fun. It's just fun. So we love that. But we love, I mean, when I set it up, I thought, I must go out and buy the latest equipment, for everyone must have a PS5. And so I went out and I bought a PS5, and I bought an Xbox Series X, and I got all the kit. What do people play on most? Nintendo Wii. Everyone loves Nintendo Wii because it is easy, and everyone knows someone who's played on it and done bowling. And we love kind of games that get people physically active as well, because that is also part of what we do. Is kind of when people are having fun, they don't sometimes know that they're exercising. Do you know what I mean? If I said, drop to the floor and give me 20 push-ups, you'd be like, oh no. But if I said, oh come on, let's kick this ball around a bit or do something, you're like, oh yeah, and you're chatting and you don't notice that you're exercising. So we're a bit sneaky like that. We do things like that.
So would you say that you have a favourite game of all time, or is it just genres?
Mario Kart.
Well, I'm a bit rubbish at Mario Kart. I like things where I can hide in dark corners and stab people in the back. So I like things like Assassin's Creed. I like a little bit of Call of Duty, but I'm a bit rubbish at it. Although I do play it on my iPad. But I'm always getting my backside kicked by, like, you know, people who shouldn't even be allowed on the game, like 10-year-olds and stuff. So, you know, but I've just had to accept that I'm just a bit rubbish at it. But no, I like kind of, I suppose my favourite games of all time are like strategy games. So there's a series of games called Total War, and I love like medieval history and things, and military history. So in that you command these vast armies, and I love all that. But ironically, I don't even have a computer to play it on at the moment. So hey, make of that what you will.
So adding on to that, and what advice would you give to someone else setting up an event or group similar to yours?
So I kind of don't skimp on stuff like advertising and branding, and make sure you're well known. It's kind of, people often say to me, I often get approached by organisations, and they'll come and talk to me and say, well, could you come and do Game Changer? And I'll tell them the price, and then they go, oh, okay. And they'll go, well, we can do that. We can do it on our own. And then you find out that they've kind of got like a Wii, a Nintendo Wii, and one Xbox, and some weeks they're there and they turn up and then they're not. And it's kind of like, if you're going to do it with passion. You know, find someone who loves gaming. You know, whatever it is, whatever the project is you're going to do, find the person who's going to drive that and who's going to be really passionate about it and who is going to be there every week and is going to kind of, you know, who loves doing it, sort of thing. That's the real secret, is passion, I think, and having, if you're working for an organisation, having a boss who will kind of just say, yeah, you know, like let you off the leash and off you go, sort of thing. Someone who micromanages you is never gonna be a success. Because sometimes you just need to be off the leash and do it, and that's. I feel I've had a little bit of success with it, and the reason is because I don't have a boss. I'm self-employed, so I think I fancy sitting around all day, drinking tea and playing Mario Kart. Let's do it. Now the reality is I don't sit around all day drinking tea, and playing Mario Kart. But the people I support do, and that's the great thing.
How do we get hold of Game Changer? How do we find out more about it if we want to know? So,
thank you very much for asking. You can contact me directly at hello@anvg.co.uk. You can head over to the very wonderful guys at Somerset Film and the Engine Rooms in Bridgwater and chat to them and pick up one of our leaflets. We are having a Game Changer website that is almost live, which will be www.gamechangertribe.co.uk. You can look us up on Facebook. We are under Your It Now, which is my other little business, and we do post lots of stuff on there. So if you type in Your It Now on Facebook, you should find us. We're on Instagram under that. Just type in Game Changer, Somerset, and stuff on Google should come up, and you'll find details there.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you, guys. That was brilliant.
If you've enjoyed this episode, then why not subscribe to the channel? And if you'd like to support the channel, then please pop over to our Patreon. You'll see a link in the description.